Hi, my name is Goldman. I'm the director and founder of Goldman and Associates. Our firm has a primary focus on family law issues, so please subscribe to our channel. Today I want to talk about something that I think is very important to have a discussion about, and it relates to what you can expect in the way of costs and fees for your case. I think it's very, very important to make sure that the public understands that in most cases, a budget needs to be established. If you're getting a divorce or you have a custody case, certainly in our firm and most firms like ours, you've got to establish a budget, which means a retainer has to be put in place. That budget is what people call a deposit or a retainer, and it is not ever meant to be the beginning, the middle, and the end of the finances associated with your case. It's not the most you're going to spend. More likely than not, it's the least you're going to spend. So the public has to understand that when you pay a $3,000 retainer, let's say if you're divorced, your lawyer isn't telling you it's going to cost you $3,000. It's not like you're buying a bag of apples at Kroger and it's 69 cents a pound. That is not it. These are time-based items, and even the most experienced of lawyers cannot with accuracy predict the time involved, because while he or she can predict what they're going to do, they don't know what the other side is going to do. You can come in and say, everything's worked out and I agree with my wife on every single thing, so therefore it should be simple. But you know what? It's not simple. It's not simple because what you don't know is they're going to make a claim for you for alimony. Or they're going to say the house is worth $100,000 when you think it's only worth $50,000. They may file motions because they may say, you promised to give me something and now I see you're not giving it to me. Or, I left the house 6 months ago, but I left my Cartier watch on the table there. Where is it? In other words, there's so many variables. So when your lawyer tells you this is the retainer, the lawyer is telling you this is the least amount I think it'll cost if everything goes perfectly. It's not likely that everything will go perfectly, though, and you got to understand that. So for you to later on tell your lawyer, oh, but I paid the $3,000 retainer, why am I being asked to pay more? You're being asked to pay more because the time involved in handling your case has exceeded the amount of budget you put up. That's why. How long is your case actually going to take? It's going to take as long as it takes to do a good job. If you want a crappy job, if you want it done cheap, if all you care about is worrying that you should stay within your retainer, you can tell your lawyer, these are the amount of hours that I want to buy. I don't want to buy any more hours. You have every right to say that. But understand one thing, it's not likely to take you to the end. If you're going from Detroit to Cleveland, that's about 180 miles. If your car gets 18 miles per gallon, you need 10 gallons of gas. If you only put in 5, you can say whatever you want, but guess what? You're running out of gas in Toledo. You don't have enough gas in the tank to bring you to where you need to be. A divorce is the same way. Lawyers will tell a client, look, the amount of cost, we cannot predict the cost, we're going to ask you for this amount in retainer. The lawyer's not going to ask you for 100% of the total cost. If he had to predict total cost, he'd probably ask you for $20,000. He doesn't know. And it's unfair for any lawyer to say, I don't know the amount, but I want you to pay it anyway. They know what the least it'll cost. They know from their own experience how much time things will take, what the filing fees are. They know that. So that's what they ask you to pay. But please understand that there's no contemplation that that's going to be the end cost, because the lawyer and you are not really doing something that's fixed. They're not selling you a product as such. What they're saying is it's a commitment of time, and they don't know how much time that's going to be. If you're looking for someone to do it for a flat fee, tell your lawyer, I want a flat fee. Is that all that it's going to cost me? And your lawyer's going to tell you, I don't know. I cannot predict that, and this is not a flat fee. Here at our office, when you sign a retainer agreement, it says in big bold letters, this is not a flat fee. So our clients are appropriately informed that there may well be other costs. So, you know, it's certainly something that it's an appropriate discussion to have. I will tell you something else too. In our firm, because it's a larger organization, we have processes for certain things. We have ways where if you can't get a hold of your lawyer, you'll speak to an assistant who will make sure that your lawyer gets that message. If your lawyer is any good at all, he or she won't be available all the time. Your good lawyers are busy. They're busy because people are hiring them because they want them. They're in demand. The bad part of being in demand, though, is they're not always available all the time. they'll call you back. They'll make sure. But if you want somebody who, as soon as you call, they're always going to grab the phone, then you want someone who's not in demand. Then you want someone who doesn't have a lot of work. You have to ask yourself, is that really what you want? At the end of the day, don't you want somebody who does this a lot, who's got a lot of experience? If you want that, you have to understand there's a price to pay. There are thorns to that rose, and one of the thorns is that lawyer might have to call you back because it might not be readily available all the time, especially if they're in trial, especially if they're handling somebody else's case. You may say, well, what good is that? I need to read that, and they're doing someone else's case, but you know what? Your case is going to come to trial also. And you're going to want that lawyer to give you the undivided attention at that time. So you have to understand that this is how the process works. Everybody is treated equally and everybody has their opportunity. Sometimes you're going to be in the forefront and you're going to get 100% of the attention because your case is up for trial, and sometimes you have to allow for someone else unless you want a lawyer who only has one case. And believe me, that is not the kind of lawyer that you want. If you have any other questions, reach out. We'll be glad to help you out.